check. Can you hear me now? I think you can hear me now. Didn't realize my mic was being weird. Hopefully you can hear me now. Let me know if you can't hear me. I'm just sitting here talking to myself for the last few minutes. Yes, you can hear me. Okay, cool. Perfect, perfect. All right. So what we have here, I'll start over since I was talking to myself for a while. We have the page 21 of the Shadowmare first book. Not the Shadowmare first book, the Mercenary Guild first book. It's going to come out in 3 parts. So this is the end of book 1. Then there's going to be book 2 and book 3. It's about 24, 25 pages long. This is the last page I have to do. I've already done all the rest. I saved this one to do live, show you guys what's going on with this page, with this book, talk about it a little bit. Hey, April. And this page doesn't have any spoilers on it, so it was good for me to go ahead and share. But we have on the right hand side the bald guy. That's Bane. He's one of the main protagonists of the series, and he's facing off against this pirate leader, the leader of some bandits and pirates, and they're about to duke it out. And I tell you what, the next few pages get pretty violent and bloody. It's pretty awesome. So what's new with you, April? How are you? Happy Thursday, everybody. One step closer to the weekend. You're going to see me accidentally rotating the page a bunch. I have a new tablet, and I have to get used to a new workflow. They got rid of the hot buttons that I'm used to having, like up here on the sides. Now I have to use this keypad, and still not used to it. Go weekend. Hell yeah. Right now, I'm just kind of blocking out where all of the highlights are going to be. For For those of you that aren't familiar with the process that I like, it's a subtractive process. I like to lay down the layer of shadow and then remove the shadow to reveal the highlights. To me, it works better for my brain. Every now and again, I'll do the opposite and fill it in with a highlight color and then just remove that to add shadow, but very rarely. Yeah, like I said, I'm just going in and blocking it in. Once I have it all blocked in, I then like to come in with my blend tool and just smooth it all out. Start to define some of those soft edges and hard edges. So April, have you been staying up on your 100 days of learning, or was that mostly like a Tim thing? Oh, there's Tim. Hey, what up, dude? Which tools are in play with that? Is it an overlay of shadow and a separate layer, like using a paint bucket tool? And then what is the eraser called that allows you to pull off the percentages? Okay, sure. I'm happy to break that down for you. Let me finish doing what I'm doing here. And then, yeah, I'm happy to break that down for you. So I like to use, so it is on a separate layer, and the layer goes above my color layer. So, as an example, let's go ahead and turn off the shadow layer. So right down here in the lower right, sorry, you cut out in the middle of your question for me, but Tim heard it all. Yep, just doing a little bit of drawing here and there. Tim says, you're ahead of him. So he's done more than you. You can hear me again, by the way. Okay, cool. Yeah, something on your end. That's fine. I did start off the stream with some audio issues, so. But anyway, so yeah, to answer your question, Tim. So over on the right hand side, I have my color layer. So that's this layer here. It's all of my flats. And then on a separate layer above that, I create a new layer and I label it shadows. And then as far as the type of layer or the mode that I use, I actually use multiply. So what multiply does, it actually, anything that you select on your color palette down here that is below 50%, it will automatically layer on top and blend. So as an example, if I use, let's say, a red hue, and I go down here, make it a little dark, I can then grab my paint bucket tool and hit it on there, and it automatically creates a mask over everything using that dark color. Then what I do, because I don't want it to be at 100% as far as the strength of the mode, I usually take it down to about 60-70%, depending on the color, depending on how dark I want the shadows and how much contrast I want. But I usually go down to about 60-70%, and then I start carving away. Now, I don't use the eraser tool. I use the same brush that I use to paint everything. I like the soft round brush. I like that because it gives me gradient edges. So to show you what I mean, it gives you like a soft, smooth edge to the brush rather than something like this, which is just dark all around, if that makes sense. But again, I don't use the eraser tool. I actually come down here to my color wheel again. I actually select transparency. And then I just start to paint with transparency. It basically does the same thing as the eraser tool, except one, I can use the same pen. It's faster. I don't have to toggle to something else. It's just a habit I've gotten into. Some people on these pens, I don't know if you can see, but there's usually two buttons on here, and they're hotkeys on the pen. I have one that when I click it, automatically brings up my color picker. So that's how I'm able to quickly choose colors. But the other one, a lot of people will assign a shortcut to the eraser tool. I just don't. I just come down here and click transparency. It works for me. But hopefully that answered your question. The amount of transparency added per touch, is that adjustable? Yes. There's like the pressure sensitivity of specifically this Huion tablet and the pen. They have like 12,000 points of pressure sensitivity. I don't know exactly what that means, but you can adjust the pressure sensitivity for opacity. So the harder you press, the more opaque something's going to be, or less opaque something's going to be. That's what I have set currently. So if I barely push, I'm on the wrong brush. So if I barely push, it barely shows up. But if I come in and I press hard, it comes up. So if I press hard and then I lighten up, I can get a nice gradient. So the pressure absolutely matters, and you can adjust the pressure sensitivity. I think that answered your question. Let me know if it didn't. I got to get you my old tablet, Tim. I said I'd give that to you, and I have it. It's sitting here. I just unexpectedly had to go out of town for work and all that fun stuff. Uh, it was fine. Yeah, it was fine. Um, not much to say, or not much I want to say about it. Um, about my day job on a live recording. Not that I have anything bad to say, but I tend not to talk about my day job on any sort of social media platform. But next time I see you, I'll tell you all about it. But it was cool. It was all right. It was a good time. No, it was not somewhere warm. We ended up going down to Kansas City, Overland Park area. So it was just 3 4 hours away. There was snow on the ground, so there was that. Ooh, do I want to have multiple light source? We'll carve in one light source kind of from the top, and we'll see about doing a light source, like a room lighting around the back. So much fun. I am, for the most part, getting used to using this key dial pad thing for all my shortcuts. It's still a little weird just because it is not at all what I'm used to. I'm so used to having my hotkeys like right up here on the draw monitor, which is also nice because I would always have this hand sitting over on this side holding the hotkeys, which would also kind of hold the monitor stable because I am using boom arms. So every now and again it'll get a little wobbly if I get too crazy. Do, 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 do. Gotta get this other arm over here. So if you happen to be lurking in the chat and you're new here, don't be afraid to speak up. We're not mean people. Happy to answer any of your questions. Even if it's not related to comic books and you just want to shoot the crap. It's fine by me. So generally after I block in the highlights, I use my blending tool and come in and just soften that transition on a lot of the highlights to shadows. There we go. And the wrong thing selected. I still have to tweak some of the pressure sensitivity on some of my tools here. I'm not back to 100% from switching to a new draw monitor, so there's just still some adjustments that I need to make. It's a pain because I just got so used to how everything was set up for the last 5, 6 years that I never thought about it. So trying to go back and remember how I had everything set up and how I even set up some of the functions. It's been a bit of a process. Whoa. Oh, on the wrong layer. I did it again. Jeez. All right. Sorry, guys. I'm trying not to be too quiet, but I keep catching myself not talking. But for metals, let's talk about the way I do like metals and metallics. I actually like to use the airbrush because it's super soft, so I can get an ultra fine gradient. Just real smooth transitions. So I use a combination of super soft and then real hard because I'll switch over to one of my pens that leaves very sharp lines, and I'll use that in contrast with that airbrush to add little bits of bling to metal. Is it the best way to do it? Probably not. But I'll tell you what, reflective surfaces, metal, water, bubbles, stuff like that. Those are all things that most artists struggle with, and it's going to continue to be a learning point for me for sure. For sure. Yeah, when I can or when I remember, I'll look up like different tutorials and stuff just to try and find better ways of doing things. But lately, I just haven't, I feel like I haven't had the time. I keep shrinking, shrinking my pen size. Right above my pen shrink size tool, this thing is the um, grabber tool. So I keep trying to like grab the page to move it, and I keep shrinking my brush. So over time, I'm not noticing, and then eventually the thing comes down real small. I'm like, where the hell did my pen go? But with metallics, I like to hit the edges with just a 100% opacity for transparency. Or not opacity, but strength. So there's no gradient to it. And man, my hand is shaky right now. Well, I'll hit the edge, and then if it's something like a knife or a blade, I'll come in and hit like the peak of where that blade is. I'll do that, and then I'll come in with like my airbrush. Just hit a few spots like this. Again, like I said, is this the best way? No, probably not. But it's what I do. It's what we're learning. Always learning, always growing. But I think in a pinch, and when you zoom out, that looks like a comic book style shiny blade. And I ain't mad at it. And let's see. Then where are we? Where are we? Ah, his pants. I need to do his pants and his belt. Oh, what am I doing? Come in, grab his belt. And we're gonna hit some of these other leather spots here. Let's see. We're gonna go in and grab this nose. Hit that a little better. Perfect. Woo! There we go. Oh no, what did you just do? There we go. Still getting used to these hotkeys. The visual difference between the two blades right there is kind of crazy. Oh, like between the guy that's been rendered and the guy that's not yet. What'll be cool is when I at the end, I don't know if we're gonna have enough time for me to finish this whole thing, but one of the effects that I like to do is come in here. Not that one. Add a cool moment of shine there. Like if the sun happens to be hitting it in the right way, or I need to draw attention to that area. It's really cool. Cool, simple way to just draw attention and add an effect and show that something's shiny. Aside from doing that effect, I also like to grab the airbrush and I'll create another layer that says glow, like I have here. And I'll come in on shoot. Some of these layers. Where's the end? And I will add an extra layer of specular highlighting to really make some of these edges pop more. And that helps out a lot. Fair Rule, I think it's called. What are you talking about? The mid high spot on a sword? Yeah, I have no idea. I know, like normally when there's like a bevel, that's a fuller, but when there's no fuller and the blade's not being hollow ground, but there's a point. Yeah, I don't know what that's called. Maybe it's a ferrule. I don't know. I feel like I should know. My mic keeps cutting out. Huh. Is it? I wonder if I'm clipping. Am I coming through like very loud? And it seems to be clipping out because I'm being loud. It's nothing when you start talking. So when I start talking, you can't hear the first bits of what I'm saying? Is that what you're saying? I don't know what you mean. Doesn't sound loud at all to me. In fact, I turned you up at the start. I just had issues, that one issue. Okay. I wonder if Ashley's listening on her phone. I know she's been having issues with her phone. Oh, dang it. All right. Cool. I think we're good with him for the time being. I think we're gonna hop over and start working on the other guy. But for the time being, I'm gonna take a quick 5 minutes, and then I will be right back, and we'll keep plugging along. Be right back. Alrighty, I'm back. Sorry about the delay, but I always take a quick little 5 minute break in my stream to call my mom. She watches the live streams, but doesn't know how to get the chat function to work. So I usually take 5 minutes just to check in with her and say hi. All right. What are we doing? We're moving on to this other dude. That's what we're doing. I think let's grab a silhouette of this other guy. I think I'm going to do a hard room light across his back. Nope. Try that again. Just to, maybe make it a little more dynamic feeling. It's not a lot, so I'm not sure if it's really worth the effort here. We'll keep it for now. I don't absolutely hate it. All right, let's move on to this other dude. And even though they're facing towards each other, the light's kind of above them, so I'm just going to kind of give it the same treatment here. Quickly go in, just block everything in real fast. So this is me working in a hurry mode. Come in on this top layer, add that little white to his eye. Well, not quite ready for that. And we'll come in and blend all of this together. I really hope I get used to using this dial pad or finding something that works. Because I really liked my workflow the way I had it set up before. Where where are my buttons? I need to take a step back and look at what I'm doing here. Hmm. Come in and blend, blend, blend. So yeah, my book, Hellstones, is well underway. I have all 8 pages done, back from the line artist, which is fantastic. I need to, of course, color those and letter those, which I'll be doing on future live streams. Um, I'm also doing a contest. So if you're signed up for the Hellstones newsletter and you're subscribed to my YouTube channel, you will be entered into a drawing to have your likeness in the book. And then there's going to be a second drawing to have, so a second winner, and they're going to have their name in the book somewhere. It might be on a bathroom stall somewhere. It might be on a billboard in the background, or it might be a character referencing someone with that name. Figured those would be cool little Easter eggs to do for those people that have, you know, always supported me, shared my stuff, and put up with my nonsense. Figured it'd be a lot of fun to do. What is going on here? There we go. So yes, if you haven't subscribed to my YouTube channel, please do. If you haven't gone over to pygmycast.com, which is my website, and signed up for the Hellstones newsletter, please do. I'm sharing progress reports on there, details about the contest. I'm sharing, some line art and just some kind of behind the scenes stuff, which is really cool to do. When it gets closer to me releasing the book, or trying to pitch the book around to a publisher or something, I'll be providing updates on all of that as well, keeping everyone informed. I'll let people know who I'm pitching the book to, and who's sending me rejection letters, who's not, who's kind enough to respond, who's not, all of that fun stuff. Just a little inside baseball of what it means to be an independent comic writer and producer. I think that'll be a fun little journey to go on with everybody who has an interest. Yeah, that'll be a fun, Tim. Yeah, thank you. I know it's a hard job putting up with all my BS and supporting me and all my stuff. So thank you. Yeah, the as far as the comic industry goes, I've been an independent colorist for a handful of years now, but I've never written a comic book, though I did write a children's book and uh, published that myself, did all the copywriting myself, figured it all out, and I was like, why don't I just do my own book? What's stopping me from doing that at this point? I know how to do it, so I'm just gonna go for it and see what happens. Um, the pitching to a publisher I've never done, so that'll be cool. See what that process is like. And I just want to share that knowledge with everybody. That way, if you're curious, is this something that I could do? Is it achievable? Or if you're just curious about the process, I think that's all worth sharing with people. When I was producing my children's book, Mason's Marvelous Mind, I had to figure a lot out for myself, and it taught me that if you really, I mean, it's cliche to say, but if you put your mind to it, you're not afraid of rejection, and you're not afraid to learn a little or have some hard lessons, then you kind of can do what you put your mind to. So I figured I'd take that newfound confidence and try and put together my own book. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. I really like the story I've put together. I really like the line art for this book. So it's going to be a lot of fun. Also, as a note, if you're following me on social media, you'll know that I have new copies in of Mason's Marvelous Mind, which is my children's color and creativity book. I sold out again, so I ordered more copies, and those have come in. So if you want a copy, or you know anyone that would have an interest, send them on my way. I'd be happy to get them a copy. Okay, we got his pants to do. then I'll add that rim that I did on the other dude. Woo. Yeah, I've really got to dial in this pressure sensitivity on this pen. It is driving me bananas. Hmm. Oh, sorry. Yes, I kind of zoned out, got a little quiet. What's that? What's going on out there? Talk to me. Talk to me. Tell me some stuff. Nothing. The Walter household is doing art to Arya in form of Sims house building, but she's getting it. That's awesome. Yeah, Sims is fantastic. I don't like the game part of Sims, but I love the building. Hmm. Okay. Well, I think we're good as far as that goes. What time is it? We got a half hour. Okay. Cool. So let's move on to some other stuff. So then you build them in a nice house, lock the doors, and oops, a fire. Yeah. Uh, or the swimming pool. Swimming pool's a good way to do that too. Remember back in the day, we used to build a swimming pool, and then I don't think they would go in the swimming pool unless there was a ladder and then water. But once they're in the pool, you could remove the ladder and then remove the water, and then they'd be stuck in the pool, and you could just watch them suffer. Or if you left the water in there, you could watch them drown. It was a very dark time. Let's select some of this background. We'll just give it a little bit of light. I think that's it. I think that's really all I'm gonna do. Yeah, they drowned without the ladder back in the day. Yeah, they learned to climb out anyway. Losers. So I have another layer here for textures. And what I like to do for textures is just kind of a catch-all, um, like his maroon shirt that he has here. Um, I've always rendered it with some texture. So I'll come in and grab like an almost black, pretty gray, and then I like this stipple texture. I'll come in and stipple some texture on it. Just gives it a little something. And then I'll also use usually another layer that I'll merge into the textured layer, but I'll select his skin. Let's say I'll look at Bane here, our main guy. I'll select his skin, and I'll move it on the color wheel down towards red, and then I'll just darken it and saturate it just a little bit more. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to select his skin here, And I usually grab something like the airbrush, something super soft. And then on most of these termination lines, a termination line is where light meets shadow. That's called a termination line. I'll come in and I'll add that red. And that adds just a little bit of color variance to keep things interesting. And I'll go a little heavier with the red around things like the ears, the nose, the lips. That's typically where all the blood rests in your face. And I'll just drop that opacity down a little bit so it's not so in your face. When we have something like that, it just adds a little something extra. To the skin. Makes it feel a little more alive. And we'll do the same to this other dude over here. Just that little bit of red to the skin adds quite a bit. And then I'll merge those down and I'll merge that down to the texture layer. That way all my textures are together. You can see when I click it off and back on, that just that little bit of red on the skin just makes it feel completely different. It's a subtle thing, but I think it matters. All right. So let's go ahead. And we still have time? Perfect. So I'm going to select everything. Then I'm going to remove my shadow layer. So what you're seeing here is a selection of everything and then a deselection of all of my shadows. Then I'm going to go up to my layer that I have labeled highlights. And the mode I use for highlights is soft light mode. Tim, sketching right now, so just kind of drawing alongside you. Yeah, right on, man. And then I'll just kick in with the fill tool, my light source. And it fills in my light source everywhere on here that isn't shadow. And on this, it's pretty light. I only have it set to like 22%. I mean, if I went all the way to like 100, that makes it very bright. So we're just going to keep it low at like 22%-ish. And then on my glow layer, I can come back in and add additional layers of highlighting for like specular highlighting and stuff like that. Sorry, my chat lags the live stream sometimes because I fall behind when the kids call me. It's all good, man. So, silhouette layer. I'm going to go to that glow layer. And not do what I just did there. There we go. We're just going to go in and add little touches to all the high spots. So the top of his bald head, top of the brows, top of the ear, cheek, maybe a little on the rim of the nose, definitely on the tip of the nose, bottom lip. Come in, hit those swords with a pass of that glow there. Ooh. And sometimes you go, man, that was a bit too much. So you come in and just kind of soften some of those spots. We'll select 10, shadow layer, remove the shadow layer, go to the glow layer, and then I'm going to try and just hit some of those little spots of room light on its backside. Select him again. Okay. We'll just do the same thing. Just give him some little punches with highlights here and there. Again, on the forehead, the nose, the cheekbone. What did I do? Lips a little. Since he's shirtless, we'll go ahead and add some more highlights to some of his muscles. Maybe he's a little sweaty. When you're doing highlights, you got to be careful of where you're doing them because you don't want to do them too much. You don't want to take away from what you're doing. You don't want your eye to wander to something that's not important. So even though I went and added some highlights, I just took my airbrush on transparency and went over them real quick just to soften them, make them a little more subtle. There we go. I think we're looking pretty good. Pretty good. We're going to select that background layer again. And I'm going to add a second layer of shadows. This is something that I do quite frequently to add more depth. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add another layer of shadows. That way I can come in and really just darken up some of this stuff, almost like a vignette around it. And that's really just gonna hopefully make these guys pop off that page quite a bit more. And I think it does, so that's good. I also think we're going to come in and we're just going to add just a little bit of texture to the background there as well. Just a little bit, not a whole lot. Especially to those bricks. I think that adds quite a bit to the page here. So I'll take that second layer of shadow. I'll come in and we'll add a second pass on the characters here, just in some of the lower spots, just to add a little more dimension. So we'll come in like the inner thigh, maybe punch that in a little bit. Underneath the arm, back of the tricep, under the bicep. And it doesn't need to be a lot. A little goes a long way when you're adding an extra layer of shadows. Okay. Jaw there. Reddish shirt just to give it a little dimension. You know, I really wasn't 100% if we were going to get there tonight, but I think we're there, guys. I think this is kind of done. I'm going to play around with the levels here for that second layer of shadows. Darken that up quite a bit. Yeah, I like that. I'm going to come in and just blend some of those transitions so they're not as harsh. There we go. There we go. I think that's looking good. I think they're really popping off the page. They're definitely in the foreground. I think that's awesome. Would adding those gleams of light that are off their swords that I was talking about before, is that going to be too much? It might be. Does that take away? Does that add anything? I don't know that it's adding anything. What do you guys think with those little sparks of reflective light off those swords? Are we liking those? Are we disliking those? What are we thinking? I'm not 100% sold on them, but I like them. I think the first dot really draws you towards Bane's face, and the second one kind of draws your eye down and back to the other panel. I don't know. The close to white color makes the line in the middle confusing on first glance. Sure. Sure, I could definitely see that. Yeah. Yeah, I see what you're saying. I think I like it better without. I definitely see what you're saying. Okay. Yeah, I think we're gonna call it good there. So this, barring any edits or adjustments that I make when I look at it with fresh eyes, this is going to be the Mercenary Guild, page 21 of book 1. I'm not sure exactly of their timeline on when they'd like to see book 1 completed. I was really hoping they were going to hop into this live stream, but no one did. But I think that's they're looking for maybe around tax time, maybe end of first quarter here to have it done. I think it's an ambitious goal, but maybe they can get it done. I don't know, but I will definitely keep everyone posted for anyone that's curious or wants to get a copy of the book. You can also go to shattermare.com or themercenaryguild.com for more information on that. Yeah, go to pygmycast.com. Sign up for the Hellstones newsletter. Subscribe to my YouTube channel. I'm running a contest, so if you're subscribed to the newsletter and my YouTube channel, you have a chance to have your likeness in a comic book or have your name in a comic book. My comic book, Hellstones, which I will continue to live stream that as I color that and produce that. It's going to be a lot of fun. I'm having a lot of fun doing it. But other than that, Mason's Marvelous Mind, I have more copies of that in stock. So if you want copies or know of anyone that might be interested, send them my way. I keep selling out. I keep selling out because you guys are awesome. So I'll keep ordering them in if you guys keep buying them. Other than that, happy Thursday. Have a good weekend. And we will see you next time. Take care.